was a seed of an idea about 18 months ago. Brad and I had wanted to work on a project together, and something that combined our interests in technology and digital. And I think it was around September 2009 that the idea came into place. We launched our website, afasterfuture.com, in November of that year. And I think it was around that time that there was a lot of conversation happening about Australia's national broadband network and the scale of the infrastructure, but there wasn't a lot of conversation around what it might be used for. So we thought we'd investigate. But pretty early on in the investigation, we realised that what we wanted to investigate was actually much broader. And so the topic of looking into the future of broadband and its impact on business, society and all of us as individuals was the direction that we decided to head in. So before I hand over to Brad, I just want to make some acknowledgements. Firstly, to all of the people that we interviewed. There are over 100 people that we interviewed from different parts of the world, and we were really grateful for their time and for sharing their thoughts. We'd also like to thank Scott Bradley Pierce for videoing tonight, and we really appreciate that, and for Annette helping us out on the door. I'd like to thank Brad for not only being an amazing life partner, but a pretty good co-author. And of course I'd like to thank all of you for coming. It really means a lot to us, and throughout the 18 months, it's been a massive journey. I don't think either Brad or I knew really what we were in for. I think that's pretty fair to say. From concept to cover, we've created and worked on every single element of this book, and it's something that we're really proud of. If you've purchased a book tonight, thank you very much, and of course thank you in the future if you do buy one. If you do like it, let us know, either via email. We've got a Facebook page set up. We'll be selling it online at afasterfuture.com. And I think that's it from me, so I'm now going to hand over to Brad. That concludes my part of the presentation. Thank you.
My memory is clearly not as good as Janelle's, which is why I have my geek toy here to help me get through. I would just like to start by thanking Janelle for all of her time, effort, inspiration and hard work in helping in putting this together and driving it and being really instrumental in this whole process. The two of us have worked hand in glove really for the last 18 months on this in terms of the concept, figuring out how we develop, looking at who we will talk to, conducting the interviews, deciding what we would use, writing it, editing it, polishing it, correcting it, putting together the cover, the marketing, putting together tonight. And it really has been an interesting journey, and trust me, if you ever want to know if your partnership is strong, then write a book with your partner, and it will tell you a lot.
And then get married.
Yeah. So just to recap a little bit on what Janelle said, but to also extend, we did look at this initially as a project based on the NBN, but we very quickly realised it was much bigger than that. But the National Broadband Network clearly in this market weaves its way through a lot of what it is that we've written about. But regardless of the NBN, and whether you're an NBN believer or not, or a believer in wireless, or a combination of the two, we are seeing phenomenal change happen through Australian business and society. Oh, sorry, and I'll just keep raising it up. Through business and society in Australia, and this isn't something that will start when the NBN's turned on, it's something that started 15 to 20 years ago. And with a lot of changes, we don't necessarily realise the ramifications of them until sometime after they've occurred. And certain things have worked in our favour. I thought Gerry Harvey's debate that he sparked in December last year was a really interesting one for us, because what it showed us was that if you sit back and pretend that change isn't happening, then whinging about it after the fact isn't really a good strategy. And a lot of what we're trying to do here is to get businesses and people individually thinking about the changes that are occurring around them and adapting to them today, or at least positioning themselves, so that when they do find themselves challenged by foreign competitors or changes in the marketplace, they're ready for it. And not only are they ready for the changes that are happening in terms of defending their business, but they're proactively thinking about the changes that will come and how to take advantage of them. I was at a forum yesterday, Broadband and Beyond, and in that audience actually asked everyone to raise their hand who'd had photos developed in the last year. And I think out of about 100 people, no one put their hand up, and I'm sure I'd get a similar response now. So, you know, change is happening around us. We don't necessarily realise it until after the fact. So what we're trying to do with this is to get people interested, excited, and maybe even inspired about digital technology and what it can do for their business taking it forward. The other thing that we sort of cottoned onto a little bit further into the process was that we have this massive problem in Australia called a skills crisis. And various pundits have identified the fact that university intake for engineering degrees and computer science degrees is in decline. We've also been told that we've got about a shortfall of 500,000 technical people in Australia by 2020. And that, to me, worries me greatly, because if we're ever going to move past being an economy that digs things out of the ground and sends them to China and Japan, we need to seriously start thinking about investing in that next group of people who are the 15-year-olds today, so that when they're doing their university degree selection in year 10, they're not picking forensic science because they've been watching CSI Miami for the last 3 years, but might actually consider, oh, that technology thing. I think it's great that in the book we've been able to even speak to local people like Dean McAvoy from Spreaks, and I think anyone who might eventually be motivated by money will be motivated by the story of a technology entrepreneur who just sold his business for $40 million after 12 months' effort. So hopefully we can reach out to some of the younger people out there and maybe get them thinking that technology has a huge potential to deliver an interesting and innovative career. As we were working on this, as Janelle said, we got to over 100 people. We were kind of amazed at how willing so many people were to give up their time and attention for this. Just to read off some of them, Vince Cerf was more than happy to speak. Seth Godin, the CTO of Ericsson, Håkan Eriksson, the guy who invented developed Cold Fusion, Jeremy Allaire, Hugh Bradley from Telstra. There are a few of you in the room. Steve Vamos I picked up already. Rob Forsyth is here. There are quite a few others that I probably can't pick out. Bob Quadling, actually over there. Nunzio Gambale. Is Hale here? Hale Kobayashi. Ian Teague. Probably a few others. Stephen Langsford. Are all part of the process of this and all contributed time and attention to making this thing work. So I'd really like to reach out and thank those guys for really helping make this an active activity. In terms of the book, as Janelle said, we really want to get your feedback on it. We're releasing it in paperback at the moment. An ebook version is in development, so those of you who'd rather look at it on their Kindle or Kobo or any other device like this one, that possibility will be opened up to you. We're just going through this stage initially. And Rob keeps criticising for that and saying it's the slow way to go, but no, we know what we're doing. But we really do want to get your feedback on this. We want to know if we're actually hitting the mark, so any input you can give us will be gratefully appreciated. I finally then just want to also give a vote of thanks to all of you for coming here tonight, to the various industry associations and others that have contributed their time. I also want to particularly point out Megan Elliott from Cross Media Lab. If any of you are interested in actually seeing some of the speakers, the international speakers in action, her event next Thursday will showcase two of them, Robert Tursek and Tan Lee. So I'd definitely recommend checking out digitaldirections.com.au. It's probably one of the most informative digital media conferences to happen in this country over the next 12 months. And I really want to thank Megan for introducing us to many of the speakers who populated the book today. On that note, I'm going to hand back to Janelle. But once again, thank you all.
I just really wanted to say thanks very much to my beautiful mum. And my sister for coming tonight. Thanks.
And Megan Brownlow in the corner as well, who we couldn't have done this without, so thank you as well. Thank you, everyone.
Before you all go, I think we all, as an industry, that's okay. As an industry, I think we all depend on a storyteller, somebody who chronicles the development of the industry and who can piece together the rather disjointed elements of a story. And Brad has done this. Now Brad and Janelle have taken this a major step forward. So for all of us crackpots and ideas and people who actually think they can change the world, we're dependent upon people who can help us make that come true. So on behalf of all of us, I'd like to vote a toast of thanks to all the pioneering work that Brad has now done for an awfully long time, and wish him the very best for this new publication. Here's to Brad and Janelle. Good luck.